They're lucky their album's done 180 million streams. Those are the meetings in the morning I will take. The one on YouTube music is about to hit 90 million streams. Like, we're actually gonna have more plaques sooner than we realize. Now, where are we gonna put them is the question. Because we're gonna have 2 more 100 mils, and then once we start getting YouTube to hit, where are we gonna put all those? We're gonna need
like a little crate. We just neatly stack them.
Throw them in. They're all like broken and tattered.
That would actually be kind of dope if we just laid these all flat, and then at any time in the call we just
pull them out like a deck of cards.
Yeah, you're like,
which
which
one were we talking about?
This one.
Did you hide it in the corner again? It's like all dusty.
Yeah, it's like over here. What's behind the plant? Another plaque.
This should be an interesting call. We're gonna have some new people jumping in. Dude, if those lyric videos are that easy for Diana to do in like an hour and a half, like that's a great piece of content.
I like that they're simple.
Because I'm thinking we could easily just swap out the background if we need more of those. Look at us, guys. We're live 5 minutes early. It has to be a record.
Hey, Timmy resharing the story with his link. He's very smart.
I wonder if I included Restream in this subscription. No, in here. I don't know if I even put that in the. No, I did. I put it in here. It looks good that Anthem worships over 5.
Very clean.
Clean.
Props to the social media team.
Yes. And by team we mean one human.
Her. Props to her.
Props to the social media team. I mean, girl. I mean, one human.
we have any comments on social media? This is great. Just go to the Restream tab. So just go to the left, click on that. Go to chat to the right. What do you mean no internet? Do we have internet? Okay, go back. It says we have 4 people watching.
My internet's still connected.
It might be a Restream issue. It's not pulling in the feed. Go to the left. Go back to the Instagram app. See if we got any. No. Okay.
What? We have one person watching?
Okay, we can go back to school.
Humble beginnings. Hey, Jacob.
I should probably put my headphones on. Can't hear him.
We got Jacob. We got Kayla.
Kayla's just chilling in her minivan, hiding from the kids. Hey, it looks like the iPad's working horizontal for you.
Check.
That's good. Or maybe it's
She's
not.
like, nope.
No, maybe she's not on the iPad.
Are we on CarPlay? Is that what's happening? Our faces are on the...
Kayla will tell you, typically the trickiest thing is figuring out how to unmute yourself initially.
For
on the
some
first
reason,
call.
on the first...
I don't know why that is.
She's shaking her head, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you know what would have been great? Yeah, take a guess. Yes,
$10,000.
that would be great. Yeah, that would be great. Not where I was going.
Maybe solving world hunger
That
would be great.
Yeah, now you're making me feel bad from what I was gonna say.
I don't know if you can top that.
You went too far. That's like where you're saying like, hey, guess the results, and then somebody guesses the results way too good,
World peace,
and it's like, oh,
potentially.
no, it's not that. I was gonna say, if I still had my Subaru Forester
Yeah.
that we drove back and forth from,
Yeah.
That's the one with the broken AC.
yeah, the one that was just beat
Oh,
down.
yeah, I can't forget it.
But could you imagine us starting a podcast from there, and we had to like sit in the
Do you
car
think
and
we
make
can
that
get
work?
the Subaru back?
Dude,
How many years
it's-
has it been?
It's in a
Do you think it's
junkyard somewhere.
smashed? Do you think
They might have just put her out of her misery, to be honest. I donated it, and I was supposed to get like a tax deductible donation when they like found a way to get rid of it, and I never heard back. So I think that means nobody would take it. So it might be a home for a
guess.
family of raccoons or something. I don't know. It's a little sad.
Maybe it's somebody with a podcast studio. We don't know. It's not us though.
I bet I could find one similar.
Does it have to be a
we
Subaru?
could like recreate it. Well, if you guys don't know, that's where we started the company from. Humble beginnings. But if I could find
Look
one
at us
just like
now.
it. Now we're
in Jason's living room.
in a living room, but it looks like a studio.
But it echoes like a kitchen.
It's way better than what it used to be. Those things helped quite a bit.
Yeah, they probably can hear that for sure.
Gang is jumping in. We got a Trace in the house.
Pigeon.
Mr. Pigeon. What's a pigeon sound like?
I think Trace mentioned that was a sore subject.
Oh, is that a sore subject? Being called Mr. Pigeon? Okay. I'm sorry to bring that up publicly right now with you, Trace.
Trace, I'm gonna
he's
look at
fuming.
your Ableton session tomorrow. I have not forgot about you. Yeah. Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think we're off to the races at this point. That was literally the only thing left. So
Cool.
you can honestly probably start doing that now. I think that was the only thing was that click channel. It sounds like it was just a fluke, but everything else looked great.
Sweet. We got more people rolling in. AA Ron, Karen, hello. We're going to give it a few minutes, see who else wants to pop in. There were quite a few people in the comments of that post saying they wanted to make it.
Is that true?
Oh, it's true. I speak the truth. Reminder, if anybody is on their phone, we will not be on screen. So if you can do desktop or something horizontal, that will work the best. We got Wayne jumping on. What up, sir?
The regular.
The regular.
Getting in those gains. That's what it is.
What it is.
Karen Julie is back. Welcome.
It's just Kayla's first call, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was good. That was good rhythm that you were adding to my.
Little world beat.
Yeah. Yeah, a little.
We should totally have some like instruments laying around. That'd be kind of fun.
To just open.
Like a little piano over there. I'll be like, put it down.
Yeah. I do have a ukulele in there. I could give you the ukulele.
That's like the cajon of
And then
guitars, bro.
And then I have one of those little handheld piano things that you blow into, and it makes
Bring out your voice box?
The talk box.
The talk
Bring out
box.
the talk box.
Give the people what they want. We tell people they're hopping on calls for a networking mastermind just so they watch us perform the music that no one of you will listen to.
It's them watching us trying to get better at instruments we're actually not that good at. So it's like, crap, you're going to start over. It's like wood
No,
shedding.
that didn't count. That didn't count.
Actually, Trace, the cajon of guitars is the acoustic guitar. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, but it's
You think it's the ukulele?
because
Okay.
everybody thinks they can play the ukulele, whether they can or they can't.
Mm. Oh. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. That's cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. See, Aaron's got his ukulele out.
That's a big ukulele.
Is that a baritone?
Dude, that's got to be.
Let's hear you rip on that.
You know what's the best way to play the ukulele? With like the flamenco strumming pattern.
Little rake strumming.
Yeah. Vroom, 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 vroom. Yeah. Max and Grace were performing at a festival this last weekend that freaking Country opened or headlined.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, once again, insane show.
They still got it.
Oh, they still got it.
That's good.
Well, let's see if there's anybody else that was planning on jumping onto this one. Wow, there's been a lot of posts in the network this week. Okay. Well, I think we're just going to jump in, guys. Everybody else can keep up as we go along. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Tuesday night.
Hit record on that too.
Is it recording?
On the switcher. Because this will be a module.
Good point.
Mm-hmm, just in case. Always record a backup.
We good?
Yep.
Welcome to tonight's Tuesday night network call. Now, typically, these are Q&A calls, but tonight we're switching it up on you, and we are doing a networking mastermind call. What is that, you ask, Jason? It is a call where we are basically going to offer our tips, tricks, and strategies that we've used to network and grow the company and grow our artistry and our careers up to this point. And we've got about 13 different topics around it that we're gonna dive into, and then we'll open it up to discussion around each one. So besides that,
we're looking for crowd participation. So this is our first one where we're actually like recording the module, and it's going to live in the network in the Artist Basics course. And so as periodically we'll come through and ask questions, or open it up for you guys to ask questions or even add to some of these, because I think a lot of you have been through these concepts when it comes to networking. And so it'd be good to get your input on that.
Yeah. So we might as well just dive straight into that. I don't think there's any other network updates that are really worth mentioning. So, yeah, I'll take the screen share, por favor.
Yeah, make that full screen and zoom in.
Bow. Fantastic.
Can you guys read that?
Oh, we got two more jumping in. Jared, Annie, welcome. Bigger yet? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. How many of you are familiar with the whole concept of networking? How many of you have heard this talk of networking in the music business? Yeah, looks like we got a few more people jumping in. Very nice. Welcome, everybody. We are just getting started. Cool. Well, here's the concept around networking, guys. Here's why it's important. Here's why we wanted to speak on it. And by the way, we had a bunch of you guys over the last couple months asking, hey, what's the best way to network? What's the best way to get opportunities? What's the best way to, move within this specific community and meet other people, get opportunities, stuff like that. And it really all does come down to networking and how to network effectively. So here's why this matters. Almost every good thing that's happened to me and Joey in our careers personally and with Anthem in general, they typically all have come from relationships, collaborations, producers, tours, deals, job offers, opportunities we never saw coming. and all of it traced back to either knowing someone or being someone worth knowing, aka being good at networking. But here's the problem. What we've experienced over the last, 10 years doing this is that most artists are pretty terrible at networking. And by the way, that's not a dig at any of you because we weren't very good at it when we started either. And there's just so much that you don't know. And again, it's just mostly because nobody ever teaches anybody how to network effectively as an artist. So, it's easy for most artists to treat networking like a transaction. Like you reach out when you need something, and then you burn goodwill without really realizing you're doing it. So our goal is here to help fix that for you guys. Did it? There we go. Our goal is to help fix that and hopefully potentially give you some skills to open some doors here with this community. So here's what we're going to be covering, guys. You can see nice long list here. We've got some topics, but the first thing that we're going to dive into is learning how to network effectively within the Anthem network. Do you want to start us off?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay.
Number 1, networking inside the Anthem network. You guys have an unfair advantage here in the Anthem network, a community full of artists, producers, and industry folks who are all trying to do the same thing as you are. Use it. That's what the point of this group is for. So here's how to network well inside of this community. You guys are here. You guys are on the live calls. Being a familiar face and a voice over the course of 12 months is worth way more than any one-shot DM by just being active in the community. Next, participating with community posts, answering each other's questions, not just asking your own, but also asking a lot of questions on top of that. The people who contribute are the ones that everyone remembers. Like they see your name pop up frequently on other people's comments, cheering them on, and also on your own posts. If you are trying to get clients, for example, we have social media experts, we have production experts, even specialists in Ableton, Trace. Consistently post about your niche skill. If you're trying to grow that and you're trying to do that, provide value first. Get in the habit of sharing something valuable.
Well, and I was going to jump in here too, guys. This one is critically underrated. So the cool thing about this network is you're going to realize there are so many different artists from different walks of life, but also different skill sets in here. Like I'm looking at you guys right now. We can see you up on a TV right now in front of us. And I'm seeing some of you are all in on the touring and know everything about that. Some are all in on like mastering your instrument and learning how to like compose and create and produce, or it's photography or videography or Ableton. Or like there's so many skills. And one thing that Joey and I have been realizing and learning firsthand the last few years really, but specifically this year, is when we just show people how to do stuff and we share our skills and like we post on stuff, a wild thing happens is like it builds goodwill. You know how when like somebody gives you so much value and they're not expecting anything in return, what do you want to do? You feel like you took something from them. You're like, oh, I want to like repay you. I want to give you back. It really has that effect. And it's also a really cool way, guys, to slowly make yourself like a voice of authority. So like if you're really into songwriting, one of the best things that you can do in the community is share what you're doing with your songwriting. And it doesn't even have to be anything crazy. It can be like, hey, check out what I'm writing today. Check out what I'm doing. If this could go for any area of your career, just share it with the community because that is going to build so much rapport and relationship. Like you don't know where this stuff is going to lead. So just keep that in mind. And before you jump in, I did want to backtrack too is the other thing too is, guys, the live calls and the community posts, which were right above this, easily the best way to get the most out of this network because this network, it is a relational thing. Everything about networking is relationships. Opportunities and everything, they come after the relationships. And just being able to hop on a call tonight and we get to see your face and you get to see our faces and we get to ask questions and actually like interact and nothing is polished. It's just like we're all here talking, hanging out. I'm telling you, there will be so much growth that comes from that, especially because, remember, you're the sum of the people around you. So if you're not where you necessarily want to be in your music career, or if you don't think you have the strategies or the knowledge or whatever, you are going to naturally just absorb that stuff from these conversations, even if you're not asking questions, because somebody else is going to ask a question and you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's a great one. I didn't think of that. So there you go. Those are really, really important and a big aspect of networking here.
So going off of posting about your niche, your skill, it could be even be your own business that you're trying to build around it. For example, we've had people in the network reach out to us asking if they can post about their business or their thing they're trying to grow, like several people. And this is usually what we tell them is like, give value first and just become known for that like being that person. And people will approach you. Like you don't have to like necessarily hunt people down. Like for example, I'm looking around just the people on this call and I see different skills. For example, a couple months ago, we found out that Annie also has her own photography company that she does, and she does that for artists. It's like, if I'm thinking about photography, or if I'm thinking about needing a photographer, guess who's the first person I'm going to approach
Joey
in this
is
network?
flying to Utah to get
going to Utah, getting those
photos
backdrops,
graphed,
getting those mountain backdrops with Annie. So, yes, it'll build goodwill. It'll slowly establish yourself as a voice of authority. We talked about that.
Yep.
So when somebody needs help with that service or think, who do you think they're going to ask? They're going to ask Annie.
Yep.
Point everything to Annie.
And the other thing about this too, guys, it's going to help you get over the fear a little bit of being seen and heard. This is at such like a simple level, is like post to the community, right? You're not going to get judgment from us. We actually love it when we're seeing artists post a lot and then we get to know them. And it's a great way for us to see, oh, they're actually like doing the thing. They're taking the information, they're trying it. They have questions. That's awesome. So like, again, it can be questions in the community, but again, if you have a skill, if you have a talent, share something. You know, Jared, like I'm even thinking of like what we're working through right now for the Words Fall Short stuff. You could even be like, oh, hey, check it out, guys. I just figured out over the last couple weeks how to create PDF sheet music really well of my arrangements because we're locking in a sheet music deal for Words Fall Short. Like that one skill right there could benefit so many artists, but like nobody's really thinking about it because there's a million other things to focus on. So that's just like one very small example. Like share something that you're learning with the group. That's huge. Yeah, you can get back to me.
Yeah. The next thing, asking for referrals. Who to use for production, for example, is one of the single most useful questions in this community. All of the producers basically that we've ever worked with have been referrals, asking friends.
Pretty much.
Like it's very powerful to have a network like this to just make one post and have a ton of people leave comments, because a lot of people are okay with working remotely.
And it's not even just referrals necessarily for producers. Like we had, I think Tim made a post about touring this week, a couple days ago or a day ago, and he was asking about rack setups. And if you know, like if you're in the touring world, you know, like that's a big deal how you're showing up and all the gear that you're bringing. I'm going to be honest, most of when Trace started dropping his words, it looked like Braille to me. And I'm just like deer in the headlights. I'm like, I don't know what any of these words mean, but I'm going to tag Joey and I'm going to tag these other people. So yeah, just ask for help, guys. If you're like, oh, I need help around this. Oh, what's the best strategy for this? This is a great way to just keep building relationships, giving value. And by the way, it leads to that next one that you can dive into, but it's like then collaborations and opportunities come from that, but typically those don't happen right away.
Yeah, and the relationships will be built over months. So a lot of the people, even the people in this network that we now work with, we've built that relationship and hung out and got a vibe for each other, and now there are things coming out of that. So we've got, once you've built a strong relationship, look into collaborating later on down the road. Co-primary collabs literally share audiences between artists. You get a piece of theirs and they get a piece of yours. And now you both grow faster than either of you would by yourselves. So co-primary versus feature lesson. We've got that. Is that in the 101?
Oh, yeah.
That's in the basics.
All over. Yeah.
So it's very important that you are self-aware enough to know what is a fair exchange of value and what is unfair. We'll talk a little bit more about leverage later on down the road, and whether your audiences and current levels are similar enough to be an equal exchange. That's what trips up a lot of artists. I think back in the day, I think it was Ashley talking about, and you could fill us in on that, but I think Ashley, you're talking about somebody was planning on doing a collab with you, but it was a little bit outside of your scope of your sound. That's something that I just thought of too. But yeah. So next, be the person that gives. Everybody knows everybody here. Reputation travels fast in both directions. Be a good hang. We'll talk about that later on. Be generous and watch that come back to you in dividends. Watch that come back to you in dividends.
Yeah, basically, guys, what goes around comes around. You know, you're just going to see that. You're going to see that quite obviously done in a small network, in a community like this, especially as it's growing. It's like, you're just going to see what you give is what you get. What goes around comes around. So just keep that in mind. That is a big part of networking here. But basically, guys, we're just kind of highlighting a couple key things that are going to help you out being in the network if your goal is to, again, network with more people. Like, how many of you want to make more friends in here? How many of you wish you had more support thus far up in this music journey? Of like, does anybody feel like they have a really solid group of support around them without this network, without this community? Because I know that was a big thing that we were missing until we decided to just create it. So this stuff will help you out quite a bit.
Definitely exercise wisdom when deciding who you're going to work with in this network. Just because somebody is in this community doesn't mean they're automatically qualified for an opportunity. This network is kind of like the Wild West. It's not everybody is filtered through here and they're necessarily the best of the best at what they do. We kind of leave that up to you to figure that out. So if you go in the member services, I believe we have a section in there of like people that we've actually worked with that we recommend. Mm-hmm. And that is where you would find that. It's like, who have like the Anthem guys worked with actually and who they would recommend. And so I recommend that you checking that out. So it's up to you to pre-qualify someone, and that takes a lot more than them just being in this community. For example, Jason's been dealing with a lot of AI artists that are trying to get in this community.
Yeah, so just to be very clear, guys, because I did kick another one out yesterday, and so we have kicked a couple AI artists out of the network, and so to be like very clear, because it's not like I'm out hunting for AI artists, but you can kind of just tell once you start to see the music being released. And our goal with this community is we want this to be for human artists only that are all in, wanting to grow their careers, want that connection, right? Because you're going to notice, guys, the more AI starts to take over in the music industry, you're going to see all these AI artists and projects, everything. It lacks human connection, and it's going to make human connection more desirable and more needed the longer that this starts to happen. So this is why right out of the gate, we're like, nope, this is for human artists who are doing the thing.
And there are a lot of powerful skills that we teach in a lot of these courses. And the last thing we want is to have a bunch of AI artists having a lot of these tools and tricks to blow up their music and compete really with humans. And we don't want that. We want humans to be excelling and having a career. So Anthem examples. Here's some.
If we jump into this too, because I'm realizing if we're going to get through this whole thing, we're probably going to have to speed up a little bit for some of the topics. We'll say this, guys, just to summarize these next two things. Everything that we've just talked about, we are personally using. So to give you an example, like Trace has been in here for almost a year now, and like, now we have all built relationships and we all kind of pre-qualify each other, and then we're like, we'll throw in an opportunity. Like, he's really good at Ableton stuff. He's going to start doing Ableton projects, you know?
But the funny thing is that going back to the paragraphs above, we didn't know he was into Ableton stuff until he mentioned it. And we're like, we have an Ableton need to optimize all of our multi-tracks and loop community stuff for all of Anthem Records stuff. I think we should probably bring in the Ableton guy instead of Jason and I figuring out how to do this from now.
Which is what it was. Yeah, and same thing again, like, David isn't on the call. Jared is. We're doing a lot of stuff with piano instrumentals and a whole different brand that we're working on. And it's called Words Fall Short, and creating sheet music and working on sheet music sales and like so many different things. But again, that didn't happen right away. Like, all of this stuff is just like slowly happening as the relationships keep developing. Shout out to Jared, who's coming to visit. Is it tomorrow? Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that, full circle. Too bad it wasn't on a Tuesday night. And yeah, so just keep that in mind, guys. Like, we're just actively trying to teach examples based on what we're doing here. And just to summarize this next paragraph, realistic timelines. If you come into the network thinking, oh, I'm just going to get all the relationships and everything and all the opportunities within the first month, and then I'm going to bounce, it's just not how it works. It's like, how many great relationships do you have in your life that operate that way? Like, we don't really have any of those. Oh, I'm going to bounce in, get what I want, bounce out. It's like, the great opportunities typically come when you least expect them further down the line. So just keep that in mind. One thing before we get going here, if you guys have any questions or any thoughts along the way, what we're going to do is we're going to be stopping between each topic just to hear what your thoughts are on any of this. You will also be able to drop any questions that you have in the comment section. So as we go throughout here, we're going to be checking these. So if you have a thought, if you have a question, if you have anything like that, just put it in there. Does anybody have any thoughts so far as we talk about just general practices of how to network well and get the most out of this community? Trace Bolton. Yep. Keeps. Good. You send it back. Yeah. Great share. Okay. Yeah, definitely utilize the map, guys. It's a pretty cool feature here. Okay. So the next thing we want to dive into, this is a mindset shift that has served us very well, and it is the whole concept of actually serving your way to success. This has opened up a lot of opportunities for me and Joey, and here's why. Most people approach networking backwards, so the typical mindset is, hey, what can I get from meeting this person? What can I get from you? The more time you spend in the music industry, you're going to see, like, that's a pretty popular thing, and you can kind of feel it. But we're telling you the better mindset is, how can I serve this person? And it'll change everything, because when you walk into rooms asking how you can help, how you can be useful, how you can contribute, you start to end up in different rooms, different places that you didn't expect. So that's the first thing. Any thoughts on serving your way to success?
We've got the story at the end. I'll chime in there.
Oh, we do. Down the bottom. Okay. You know, guys, just doing more than you're asked to do, being the person who's genuinely useful to have around. You know, if you actually love people and actually serve people, you eventually find yourself in situations where, like, man, how did we get here? How did this opportunity fall in my lap? That's typically where it starts. And here's a really big thing, guys. It took us a while to learn. Other artists are not your competition. And it's going to be easy to look around and start to judge yourself and compare. What do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but it's true. The artists on the bill with you in your genre, at your level, in this network with you right now, or even the ones further ahead of you, they're not people to size up and compete against. They're the people most likely actually to collaborate with you, to refer opportunities to you, and then to potentially pull you into rooms that you couldn't otherwise get into alone. You know, we're all in this together. Cue the High School Musical theme song. Trace, go. Do you remember that call where he busted into, we're all in
He's
this
got the motions too.
Other people don't have to lose for you to win. That's the gist here, right? In a network, other people do not have to lose for you to win. It's a scarcity mindset, and it's just not true. A rising tide will, in fact, raise all of the ships. So if you put this one thing into practice, guys, this is going to take you a really far way. Again, the lesson, the way that I learned that one was when I was just getting started in the music industry. I was working with a band called Citizen Way, and I was still in college, and Ben, the owner and the lead singer, was always reminding me, he's like, hey, serve your way to success. If you do well, I will give you more. Serve your way to success. If you do well, I will give you more. And I just doubled down on that, and opportunities just always seem to come up from that. So that's something that I like to bring up frequently, but you had some experience around that
for me,
too.
I joined Mass Anthem when it was basically a year into it. The original two guys, they're brothers. They were like 4 to 6 years older than me. And so I joined when I was like a freshman in college, and I was basically just like the hired gun for years. And I was just happy to get experience and get opportunities. But deep down, I kind of treated myself as an owner for several years. I would hop in and help out like with the website building and social media content and extra things, like even later on down the road, like building light shows and doing other things that were technically I wasn't getting paid to do, but I was in it for building the skill, and I wanted the group to win. And so by being in the group for so long and being so consistent, I knew the whole system like the back of my hand as if I was an owner. And by the time Jason and I, the two brothers, wanted to leave around COVID, Jason and I took over as owners because they were just going to let the whole group die, and we were ready to go. And so we still believed in the group. And so just by serving our way to success all of those years, it's really put us in a great position to take over that brand. So
yeah, you want to know the beautiful thing, guys, about serving your way to success too is you will build skills that you otherwise would not have built because you might have thought you were above those skills, like those things were beneath you, but you actually we talk about skill stacking a lot. You start to pick up lots of little things that you otherwise wouldn't have, and that stacks, and it actually helps you a lot as you go along. So that's the whole concept around the mindset shift of serving your way to success instead of just trying to like leapfrog your way to success. Do you guys have any thoughts, opinions, experiences around that? I see the comment section is really just us combining Trace's name with Ableton or the Anthem Network. Really productive things.
great.
I came up with Trableton. I thought that was pretty good.
All right.
Moving on.
Let's keep going. Number 3, be a good hang. This one gets underrated constantly, so we'll say it plainly. Be someone people actually enjoy being around. And I don't think we say it later on, but after all of the years being in a band, and even playing for other people, 90% of it is being a good hang, and 10% of it is actually playing well, like being proficient at your instrument. And I've noticed in our experience, and even in watching other artists that I play for, they will take somebody who's less talented, who's a great hang, to be on the road, especially because you're cramped in a bus, you're cramped in a hotel room together for days, if not weeks or months.
That was our secret weapon, guys. We were just so bad at our instruments that we compensated with just being really, really good people on the road. So they had to keep bringing us back.
That's what it was. So
And this guy really sucks, but we could put him in the tracks. He's really cool.
he's funny.
He's a funny dude.
Talent gets you in the door, but being a good hang is what gets you called back. Think about most opportunities in the industry, how they actually happen. A long drive, a green room, studio session that runs late, dinner after a show. People are choosing who they want to spend hours in a van with, and they will pick the fun, easy, positive person over the more talented person who is exhausting to be around almost all the time, especially the ones with the big ego. So some practical tips. Here's what a good hang looks like. Low drama, low ego, and nobody really wants to manage your mood swings because a lot of times you're putting out fires, as you guys know who go out on the road. You're constantly, the schedules are always behind. You're always fighting things, equipment going out, and it's like if you got somebody with a hot temper or something like that, they're just going to ruin the whole night if they can't roll with the punches. Yeah, they're positive when things go wrong, and they will. Flights get delayed. Hotels loses your reservation. I have personal experience with that one. Getting to the hotel at 3:30 in the morning after the gig, and they're all booked. Yep. Oh man, that was. Your sound guy disappears. That actually happened at one of our shows. You asked the sound guy for the Wi-Fi password, and he's like, "No," and then he never showed up again.
Just disappeared.
Anyway, how you act at 3 a.m. when everything's falling apart is what people remember you, especially if you are a hired gun. You're not one of the members. You're genuinely happy for other people's wins. You're easy to work with. You show up on time. You're prepared, and you don't make everything more difficult. You listen more than you talk, and you know how to read the room.
Again, guys, these are things where you might be like, oh, duh, guys, that's obvious stuff. You'd actually be surprised, though. Sometimes it's actually nice to put all this stuff down in one spot and be like, oh, you know what? Those are actually the characteristics that I would personally be looking for if I were to bring someone out. And by the way, we have Anthem Worship where we're setting up tours and stuff. And it's like there's so many opportunities that we're building with the stuff that we're doing. This is stuff that we are absolutely looking for. Like there's a checklist. Okay, we're going to bring this person. We're talking behind the scenes. Is he a good hang? Okay, yeah. Is he good at the thing that he does? Okay, but what's he like to work with? Okay, but like, what's he bring to the table? Is he a net positive for the energy? Is he net negative? Like what is going on there?
Nobody's asking you to be the loudest personality in the room. Just be somebody whose presence makes the room better instead of heavier. Reputation does travel in an industry this small. We'll talk more about this. And the music industry is tiny, especially the Christian ones. Being known as great to work with is worth more than almost any credential or payment.
And then we just have an example.
We just have
Trace. We'll just leave it at that.
Bolton.
You won't know if it's good or bad. Just Trace.
You're one of them.
No, that's a good example. We have Trace down there as a good example because guess what? We're going to pick on him for a little bit. He showed up to these network calls pretty consistently for like the past, how long? Like 6, 7, 8 months, something crazy like that. And guys, these calls, they basically just turn into hangout sessions. We're all just hanging out, asking questions, strategizing around music and everything. And in the process, we're like, oh, this Trace guy is pretty cool. And then, oh, this Trace guy I guess he's pretty good at Ableton. Oh, we have a need for Ableton. Okay, let's hit him up. Bam, opportunity.
Same thing with a similar timeline too. Trace has been, even before joining the network, before the network was even a thing, he was one of our first marketing members. And the same thing with like Ashley.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley was like in on it in the beginning, and it's like
Years ago.
Like we're tracking. And so what ended up happening too is like Ashley got a couple collabs with us.
Yeah, we did some stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, it just happens over time.
The funny thing too is the hang. We didn't initially have calls like this, but like guys, that hang effect can also happen through social media. Like just being present with each other. The reason that we got to know Trace so much is because we were just having a grand old time making jokes through Instagram and just like putting his face on a Marvel character named Groot. Back when. Oh, dude. We will absolutely be bringing that back at some point, but
I spent an unrealistic amount of time.
Do you have any idea how long it takes?
There's a reason why there was never a part 2 to
4 or 5 years ago, before AI, to crop artists' faces off of their heads and then track them across a Marvel scene. Like one of those, dude, there were like 10 or 15 artists in there that like he spent an absurd amount of hours.
Have you guys seen the Endgame or whatever in the Avengers with all of the superheroes? Every superhero in that final battle had an artist face on it, and it was manually
Do we even know where that is anymore?
It's somewhere.
Is it buried? Trace, it's on there.
It's probably on Instagram.
I bet it's one of our first.
We were like, we can't get rid of
posts.
that one. We're going to leave that one there.
Dude, if you can find that,
You should post it in the group.
We're going to 100% show that.
Anyway.
All that being said, guys, just being a good hang, like it goes so far. Just being fun to keep around, being uplifting, like that'll get you a lot of places.
Positive and encouraging.
Let's quick check the comments here. Jared saying creating win-wins for you and whoever you're with helps a ton. If they see they're benefiting, it'll go a long way to that collab working out. 100%, dude. Annie, I think that Wayne is a good hang. Really, though.
Can we remove a gold star?
That was a forced rhyme, but I see where you were going. I appreciate the attempt there with that rhyme.
Hey, she's 9 out of 10 for the name girl.
She is our name girl, so we let her get away.
We'll
with
let her.
it.
We'll,
we're gonna let
that
it
one
slide.
slide.
From Jacob here. After being in a travel ministry where we had to set up and tear down stuff at churches each week, having other people who are a good hang is wonderful. Yep. I travel with some who are great hangs and some who just were not in stressful situations and changes. So basically you're saying, Jacob, you've felt the difference between being around people that are life-giving and a good hang and then those that it's like, bro, you're making it worse. Yeah. Oh,
Dude, that reminds me, man. I played for a camp or whatever for a church, and like they had a bunch of their worship leader staff on like leading. It was like they just send all their people, and they were all fighting the whole week. And I'm like, it was the most awkward thing. Like nobody would. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I totally just wrecked your train of thought here, but check this out, guys. So this isn't the Marvel one, but let's see. Can we get the volume coming through here at all? Do I have to turn it around again?
I think a lot of people have seen this movie.
Yeah, but it's not even coming through. Oh, do you think they pulled the audio?
Maybe.
Because it's not coming through at all.
Okay.
Oh, that's so disappointing. This is one of our favorite scenes. So that was Trace. This was an old brand we were gonna start, guys, called Strumble. We can get into that. We can get into that another time. This is the stuff that we were doing early on when we were starting our company. We're like, how do we just like have fun and get to know everybody on Instagram? And at this point, we were. Trace, did you know it was us at this point, or were we still like hiding behind the brand and nobody really knew us yet? Yeah. Yeah,
that was a fun season.
She was one of the ones that was like most annoyed that she couldn't figure out who we were. So guys, initially when we started the company, we wouldn't show our faces and nobody knew it was us, and we intentionally wouldn't tell anybody it was us, but we were just giving away like free playlisting support to everybody. So we were like stirring things up and there was mystery, and then we would do this kind of stuff where we would take Trace's photo and throw a snowball at him. And yeah, there was a Marvel version of this that was I hope we saved it somewhere.
It's gotta be somewhere.
I bet it's somewhere. Anyways, okay. Great find, Trace. Great find. All right, guys. Number 4. This is a great little strategy for networking. Being the most curious person in the room. If there is one core networking skill, it's that in any conversation, aim to be the more curious person. Curiosity is what makes people successful in the first place, and it makes networking dramatically easier. So here's the simple version as to why. People want to feel important. At the end of the day, everybody just wants to feel important, feel seen, feel heard. So when you ask real questions, you basically give that to them. It's the fastest way to make any conversation land well, and it costs you nothing. So here's what happens. You make the other person feel valued. They're going to remember how you made them feel long after they forget what was actually said. That right there is a gem. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel. And hopefully, even on these calls, guys, you might hop off of these calls and not remember everything that we discussed. But hopefully, you feel the way that we want you to feel, like you feel included, like it was a community, like you connected, like there was support.
And have you ever had a conversation with somebody who talked the entire time, and then at the end, they're like, "That was the best conversation I've ever had." You almost want to. You can fabricate that by asking questions, and it's like you're making them feel heard because you actually are listening, and you're really feeding into them, and which leads us into that next point. But yeah.
Yeah, well, the second thing here is you collect information and data on them. So if you think about this from like a strategy, a strategy when it comes to networking and talking, you get information on what they're building, what they need, what they're struggling with, where you might be able to help them. So this is exactly why it's in your interest to talk to as many people as possible in this networking season, because every conversation is, oh, dude, did he find it? He found it. Okay, we're going to hit that after this. Good find, Trace. I'm so excited. This is going to be great. Yeah. So you're making people feel valued, guys, when you're asking questions about them, but you're also you're collecting intel, and it's like, oh, I think I could help them with this. Oh, I think I could help them with this. And at the same time, 3, you're evaluating them, right? A lot of people don't really think about this half, but it's pretty darn important. So one of the things you can look for too is like, how curious are they about you? You know, are they asking questions back? The most successful people know that you only get information by asking questions and listening, so you can genuinely measure someone's interest level by how intentional they are about listening and asking about you. This is an obvious one, but even like in the world of dating, you ever go on like a terrible date and you're like trying to keep a conversation going and it's just like nothing. It's like, so where are you from? What do you do? Nope, nothing. Okay. My mic's getting stuck here. My magnet just got hooked on my mic.
You don't have enough fabric over there.
I know. Dude, it's hot.
We got to put a shirt on you.
Too late. Okay. Anyways, what I was saying, guys, is you know how like there's relationships where you'll be like, man, this is exhausting. Like I'm just trying to keep the conversation going. They're not interested at all. They're not asking questions. It's such a simple, straightforward thing, but just be curious, and then you can gauge if somebody else is curious back. It's such a simple part of networking. Like you were saying, somebody who talks about themselves the entire time, never asks you anything, is telling you something about where they are, you know? But someone who is deeply curious about you is usually further along than they look. Aaron says, sun is out. I think that means sun is out, guns
Not in
out.
here. It's
Yeah.
super dark.
You guys don't realize this setup here is my living room, but this blocks all light. It's just a cave in this room. No sun out, Aaron. No sun out. Yeah, and then there's another aspect to this, guys. Successful people, they run an internal timer, you know, whether it's conscious or not. In a conversation, they're usually asking questions and extracting what they need, and they're reading whether you have the same habits, whether you have the same stuff going on. And once they get information they need, they've clocked that, and they move on, you know, quietly, politely, but like if you didn't return that, it's like, well, you're probably not going to get opportunities. You're probably not going to get things that come out of that.
And that's the thing, like the more curious you are, the more successful you are. And that's because the most successful people know that they're curious, because the more information they get, the more perspective they have. And so they're really just gauging on whether you're a curious person or not, or if you're so isolated and you're so tunnel vision in your own little world that you're not open to new creative ideas.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. So we're gonna keep this moving, guys, because we want to make sure we get through everything. Yeah. Have you guys played around with any of this? Any thoughts? Any of you relating to this at all? Let me ask you this. Have any of you thought consciously, like when you go places about this stuff, have you thought consciously that, oh, I'm going to network and here's the strategy I'm going to deploy? Or is it kind of just like you're on autopilot and you're not really thinking about this stuff? Yeah, drop it in the comments. I'm curious where you guys are at with this. Is networking something that is something you are consciously doing and you're coming into it with strategy and like how to do it well, or is it just kind of an unconscious thing? Well, no comments. I will assume. Oh, here we go. There's a line between genuine networking to build relationships and just being hungry to gain ground. Facts.
Yep.
Kayla's saying this is a new concept for me. Oh yeah, okay, dude, that's a great point here, Trace. It's so easy to see through the fake too. Jacob, I do not usually think about this stuff when I am in public, but I am someone who enjoys meeting new people and getting to know them, but do not plan on, think of it as networking. Yeah, and it depends on the event. And this is the thing too, like faking it, like you said, Trace, like you can sense it, you can feel it. It doesn't work.
And all of this stuff, like being curious, it's a skill, especially for networking as a whole for introverts is a skill. Like you have to work on it and you have to practice it over and over again, which I say this a billion times. But when I wanted to get more comfortable with talking with strangers on the internet with Zoom calls, I just took a bunch of them and then just asked a lot of questions. And then you kind of get a little bit of a cadence of it. But the other thing that I want to add to find at the end of the curiosity thing, and I think would pair well with this is, and I'm guilty of this too, but I don't know if you've ever had a conversation at an event or something and you could feel like the person is like looking through you or like over your shoulder. Sometimes I do that, and you have to consciously not be that person.
Like looking for the next
where
person
you're
to
like,
talk to.
oh yeah. And you're like, I can feel that when somebody's doing it, and I catch myself doing it too, and I have to force myself to like lock in on the person and make sure that they feel like they're being paid attention to, because kind of like what Trey said is like, you can pick up on that stuff. And I've done it, but it's real easy to get caught up in doing that. You're looking for really the next shiny thing, and you cannot do that with people.
Yep. There's some really good comments in here. Yeah, Wayne, and it depends on the event who will be there. Some people are approachable, some are not. It's important to read the room. Aaron, I'm just me, but that's probably why it doesn't go the best. So Aaron's saying he approaches it with no strategy. Jared, I try to go into it with the goal of learning about the person, not just to collab. Yeah. If it reaches that point in the conversation, cool. If not, not a big deal. Coming from an introvert who forces himself to be an extrovert sometimes. Yep. And being a good listener takes practice. Yeah. Yeah. And again, guys, there are ways to like weaponize this, and that's not the point of it. Like you can go in and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this exact thing, and then this is gonna get this, and it's like there also comes a point of just being a good, kind, normal human in person that likes to ask questions. But you would be amazed, guys, how many artists that we have talked to where they don't want to ask questions about us or return the favor, and then the conversation's done. It's like we know everything about them and what they're doing, and we know exactly where they're at, and then we walk away. It's like, okay, that's fine. It's like missed
I
opportunities.
think Ashley had a comment too. What did she say?
New statistic came out recently that says that in order to get closer to someone, it matters way more quantity over quality, meaning that just spending simple time with people over time matters more. Long-term connection builds close connection. Interesting. That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, I can think of a simple example too, like being in a music city like Nashville when I was doing a lot more gigs as just like a guitar player for people. And it's wild the connections you make by just going on the road with people. And even if you're not even like really intentionally trying to have deep conversations, but they will happen. Because the longer you spend time with people, like it'll just happen. And then by the time you come to Nashville or come back home to Nashville, you're going to see those people again, and you're going to have that connection again. Yeah. But like you have that memory, and that's just what it reminded me of. And
this is another great thing too, guys. Like these network calls, for example, we're not ever going to claim that these are the highest quality calls. Sometimes we're just laughing and have a good time, and you know, nobody has any serious questions or anything, so we just hang out for a bit. And it's not the most quality, but you're right, it is quantity. That makes me think about streamers specifically. I don't know if you guys ever follow any streamers online, but it's like the lowest quality content. Their cameras are just on 24/7, but fans of them spend so much time with them that they feel like they know every piece of them and that they're their best friend. And there was this event that, what was it again? There was like this stadium that was packed, and they were bringing out the celebrities. And first they brought out like B-list celebrities. Then they brought out like the typical A-list celebrities,
Like,
and everybody's going wild.
I think there were like categories. They had like movie stars walk out, and then
Artists.
maybe social media influencers like that didn't do live streaming came out.
They saved the live streamers for the end. And guys, the live streamers got the craziest standing ovation from the whole place, and everybody was losing their minds. And it's hilarious because these A-list celebrities just walked out before them and didn't get that. And we're talking like the big movies, the silver screen, all that. No, everybody's losing their minds over the streamers that they've watched for like a bajillion hours because they feel like they know them. They're like a piece of their life. So to me, that just confirms everything that you're saying there, Ashley. Yeah, quantity over quality. That's why it's important to hop on these network calls and ask questions and yeah. I'm good. You can switch it back. Sometimes my screen saver pops on. All right. Let's jump into 5 and talk about just nurturing relationships, maybe. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, is this me? Yeah, nurture the relationship. Here's where a lot of artists miss. One relationship kept alive over years can open a door you couldn't have predicted. But if you're not nurturing it, you never get to that door. The opportunity comes years later, and only if the relationship is still warm when it arrives. Simple ways to nurture the relationship. Check in when no ask is attached. This is really difficult because like everybody's lives are busy as it is. You're trying to juggle jobs and be an artist and keeping all of your contacts, or at least the people around you, warm. And I think the only way to really do this well is you got to set reminders. And I'm bad at this. I don't know if you do that.
I have a paper calendar.
Do you set reminder? Does it remind you?
My setting reminders is me like flipping to the future.
Oh,
writing it in.
Congratulating people on wins. Obviously, it has to be genuine, but supporting releases, adding them to playlists, sharing a post, commenting on posts, remembering details like their family, project, things they were stressed about, like, and all of this, like, you have to genuinely care about this stuff because it's really easy to just be super fake about this.
Yeah.
Sending thank you cards or Christmas cards, old fashioned, and it goes a long way in the industry. Like, dude, even you're going to talk about your booking agency, aren't you?
Well, no, I would say I would love for us to get better at sending Christmas cards every year.
Just think about your like distributor.
A team Christmas card.
If you have a distributor that like having reps or what. A Christmas card? Did you say Christmas card?
Yeah, I was saying I would love for like.
Do we get to wear ugly sweaters?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, something like that. But like, dude, you ever get like a Christmas card from a company or from a group of people where you're like, oh, that was kind of
yes, but you have to wear elf ears.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Gio can wear elf ears.
Okay.
Little elf.
Yeah, like we've heard of things like with managers, distributors, publishers sending your reps gift cards or whatever, like during Christmas time, like things like that.
Like think of
go
Sweetwater.
A long way.
Think of Sweetwater.
I'm thinking of Sweetwater. You mean like when I spend money, they send me candy?
Yeah, but
the candy has gone downhill, I'm gonna be honest.
Have they gotten
stingy
on the
inflation,
candy?
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, Sweetwater is one of the main companies out of, is it Illinois?
No.
Indiana?
Yeah.
Indiana. That you buy your music instruments from, and they have this thing where when you buy something, they ship little packets of candy with it. But I guess they're getting stingy.
I will say 1 year with Sweetwater, relating it back to Sweetwater and Goodwill, One time I ordered from Sweetwater back in the day, and they did not include candy in the box. And I like posted about it, and I tagged
Did they
them.
mail you a separate?
And they mailed me a jar of candy with their logo on it. And here we go. I'm talking about it again.
Joey has removed the candy from every package he's ever ordered,
Since
and then posted that he never got any candy.
They've been just sending me
jars
the nasty caramel
But
candies. But
the point that I was going to make there is Sweetwater is notorious for having their reps just randomly circle back with you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, once a year, not even asking for anything. They just check in. It's like they have notes about you. Hey, how's your career going? Are you still doing this? Like my rep would call in and I'm just like, oh, hey, dude, how's it going? It's like,
you
how's
answer those?
Yeah, and I'd be like, dude, how are your flight lessons going? Because he was working on being a pilot. I'm like, I'm becoming a friend with my Sweetwater rep.
I'm too introverted to answer their sales calls. Anyway.
No, it's not sales calls. It's friendship calls.
Sure, buddy. Sure. Show up in person when you can. Tomorrow we're meeting with Jared Humphers. Thank you for showing up.
Shout out.
We're tired of being in this dark dungeon. So
getting some burgers.
whenever we can, come get coffee with us or dinner or something. Shaking somebody's hand at a radio station, a show or a conference still matters enormously, and a shocking number of artists never bother. Think about networking like a bank account. For every ask you make several deposits first. If you got nothing banked up, there's nothing to spend. Another way to say that, kind of like we talked about before, just continue to give value and your time to people, and eventually they're just going to ask. You almost don't even need to ask.
Does everybody understand this concept of goodwill? Not talking like the thrift shop, talking a different type of goodwill. Have you guys? I'm just curious. Like, what would be your description of what goodwill is? Like, what would be an example of that for you? Because this is actually a pretty big deal, and Joey and I were really intentional with this because certain moves, again, like we said, deposit goodwill, let you bank up goodwill, but then there's also certain things you do that literally pull it and deplete it, and there is a fine line where you can tell when somebody has more goodwill with you or they have pulled out debt, essentially, and it's like they are in debt. You can feel the difference.
I can give you an example of sucking the goodwill. Hey, everybody, I'm releasing a song. Go pre-save it. You're asking for something from your audience to support you and your song. And that's like the number one thing we all do. It's like, oh, we got to promote. But that's just for your audience too. But you are asking something of them. That is a transaction that you're asking. And so how do you, for example, have like a 10-to-1, where a 10-to-1, one being the nine times out of 10, you're giving away something, goodwill, nothing, no asks, nothing to your audience, to other people. And then maybe the one time you do ask by saying, hey, go support my song. And you will get way more people that support that way. Versus, we'll talk more about this in the future or down below about that specifically when people hit us up.
Yeah, no, well, we actually get into some examples, guys, because we just want you to see how it does apply. But this is something that Joey and I actively talk about, this concept of goodwill. Like, if we're gonna reach out, like if we have something where like, oh man, we could really use this from this artist. So like, oh, maybe this artist would record an ad for us, or like something like that. Like something, it's not crazy difficult. It might take a couple minutes or so, but it's still an ask. And we're like, all right, is that the best use of goodwill? Do we feel like we've given enough? And we're not trying to make these relationships like, what's the word? It's like transactional. It's not like we're trying to do that, but guys, there is a realistic side to this where you can feel when somebody has taken too much. And when that happens, you naturally start to like pull away and it feels weird. We actively try to avoid that and try to just do it a little bit better. And
you'll know when you're giving a lot of value is it makes you actually like kind of sick to your stomach. The amount of effort and above and beyondness that you need to do that's like giving enough goodwill.
So we'll give you an example too. Like there's a lot of aspects with this network where we are making ourselves just give more value than is comfortable. And when we started, we were like, holy cow, dude, we just spent 6 years coming up with these strategies and like we haven't shared these with like anybody. And we're just gonna make them available to pretty much everybody. And when we started this group, it was like $10 a month. And we're like, holy cow, we're just like giving this stuff away. And like, if you knew the amounts of money that we spent testing this and the years that we spent testing this, and even now, it's like for where the community's at, it's like, yeah, we're still giving that away and it's really uncomfortable. But also, we're hoping that you guys can feel like there's value racking up and that there's goodwill. And it's like, oh, these guys keep giving us more value. That's our goal. That's what we're really after. It's like if we can accomplish that, everything else just like kind of falls into place. We have a lot of comments here to catch up on quick.
Okay.
Annie has a study. She said it's estimated that it takes 40 to 60 hours to form a casual friendship, 80 to 100 hours to transition to being a friend, and more than 200 hours together to become good friends. And she posted the link to the study. That is wild. That confirms everything that we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. Wayne says, I have a great networking story that led to a sweet gig in Nashville. My screensaver again. Don't worry. We'll come back to that, Wayne. Annie, I need to do 50 hours of live streams on Spark's Instagram to be close friends with everyone. Yeah, maybe. I guess so.
I mean, that's in the live streaming world, that's not a lot. 50 hours?
Yeah, Annie, that's just a couple
that's
full
50,
days.
50 days of 1 hour.
Yeah. Sweetwater reps email us. The same guy for years. They are consistent. Yes, they are. Once a year, my Jackson calls me every month. Trey said his Sweetwater rep calls him monthly. That's because, Trace, he knows you're a big spender on the touring side of things.
Yeah.
The touring artists are the ones that they often get.
He's got your profile locked down.
How consistently are you ordering stuff through them, Trace? Oh, really? Okay. Enough said. Okay. Enough said. Annie, wait, she said that's for casual friends. She needs to do 200 hours of Spark live streams to be close friends with her followers. Yeah, probably.
2 hours a day, 100 days. Let's go.
Wayne saying helping my musician friends with funds when they need help. Yeah, dude, that's a great way for goodwill to bank that up. Jacob, one example I think of goodwill, maybe I have a friend who said who she and I will send songs back and forth to each other asking for help with lyrics, chord ideas. Honestly, dude, yeah. Like that's another great example too of like just being willing to give your time as goodwill. Hey, review this thing. You know, there's a lot of artists you'll see posting sometimes in the network of like, hey, I produced this demo. Can I get some feedback? That's goodwill. Just chiming in, offering a perspective. It might feel like a really small thing, guys, but even just scrolling through the community posts and seeing somebody post something and sharing just a little perspective, like that goes a long way. And that makes the other person feel seen and heard. And then they're like, the next time your name pops up, they're going to be thinking the way you just made them feel from that, whether they're conscious of it or not.
Even just an example of, I think you mentioned it was Tim asking for live gear. And it's like, there's a handful of us that have experience with live audio gear. Like he's like, I want to be able to fly with this, and this. Like just providing your perspective and the shortcut to him, that's goodwill.
Yeah. And what's it cost you? A couple minutes, you know? How long did you spend just typing up
2 minutes.
That stack that we used for Mass Anthem? How long did that one take you, Trace, to put together your response to him? A couple minutes? Yep. Goodwill. And you're just throwing goodwill everywhere. And it's like you don't even have to keep track of it. It's just like you know that, good things are going to come out of that. Let me give you an example quick, guys, of what nurturing relationships long-term looks like. Great examples with with Genevieve. We do a lot of projects with her and her manager, and it's one of those things where like we're always just kind of checking in and just texting and like keeping up, and it's never always about business, but the more you just kind of nurture that relationship long term. We did a project with them 2.5 years ago, and just today we're talking about the next project that we're gonna do because the timing lined up again. And even Zach was saying, he's like, man, I appreciate how like consistent you guys are, and the fact that like when you say you're gonna do something, you do it. It's like that's what he remembered. And it's like, cool. That's the goodwill that we have banked up, and it keeps the relationships going. And again, we've seen that with Eleni. Like we knew Eleni for years, and she just followed along with the network.
Eleni knew us for years, but she ghosted us.
She was just lurking in the shadows. Yeah, she was. She ignored our initial DMs, and then one day hopped on a call, and lo and behold, now we're doing albums together. Kayla said, I feel this because I'm fundraising to release my album. I feel like I am pulling on people and they don't get much back. I'm wanting to learn more about giving more goodwill out to my people so they actually want to support me. Yeah, that's huge. Like Kickstarters are a big pull of goodwill, like a significant pull.
It really is, especially for the people that do multiple albums. Like that's just fundraising in general for something's really tough because you're asking.
Yeah. Did you feel that too, Trace? Because I know you did that fundraiser recently in the last couple months for the. Did you feel like you were pulling on goodwill quite a bit? Yeah. 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 Yep. Yep. You best believe he's putting on elf ears this Christmas and sending out Trace Co Christmas cards. It's like he pulled enough equity that he has to wear the elf costume. Yeah, that would get you back up. Yeah. Kayla, do you want to chime in at all around what you're kind of talking about with your album funding? Because I know this is your first call. We haven't gotten to talk one-on-one yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, shout out to Kayla for the fact. Are you still hiding in your car? Okay. Okay. Turn the lights off. They don't know you're in there. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Okay. Anybody have any thoughts on there?
It's definitely worth a post for you to do in the group.
That would be a good community post.
Yeah, I know a lot of us have done some form of fundraising, and we might be able to help weigh in on helping you make some like creative incentives. I think this is the right creative group for that, to help you come up with ideas. It's just, and another thing too is it's just difficult. Fundraising is just really difficult. I think it's one of the hardest things that we've ever had to do as artists.
And also too, to give you some perspective, we're doing the Anthem Network because and we started a company, we offer services, and we like to provide value this way because we equally dislike the whole process of asking people for money and like fundraising, because like it's a lot of work, and like you're kind of saying, like it's stressful and it feels like you're asking for a lot, and it's just like we finally got to the point where we're like, okay, what if we just give an absurd amount of value to the Anthem Network and grow this thing that we can use that to help fund more of our projects? So there's kind of a few perspectives. I'm curious how many of you lean towards one or the other right now. Maybe drop it in the comments too. Like, how many of you right now are leaning towards Kickstarters? And there's no right answer here, but like Kickstarters, GoFundMes, or how many of you are now like, now I would rather focus on trying to like create a service or solve a problem or whatever and use that as a way of funding. I'm curious where you guys are at with that. Or maybe it's a mixture of both. So Aaron's leaning towards doing the service, coming up with a service. Yep. So back in the day, Mass Anthem did one successful GoFundMe, or was it a Kickstarter?
We did two Kickstarter.
Yeah, but
the first one was successful.
Yeah, the second one got
The second one got wrecked by COVID.
Yeah.
We ran that thing right into COVID, and the world went crazy. And then we're like, and so we cut that. Nobody wanted to give any money. Everybody was freaking out. So that one flopped. But
yeah. Timmy says praying and asking God to make a way. The third, he selected the checkbox of other. Yeah, service all day. Jared's services. Trace, if you do use Kickstarter, etc., remember their percentage that they take.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And Jared said also panhandling works too. Yeah, these are funny. Okay. Let's keep it rolling. We'll see if we can get through all this stuff. Here's an interesting aspect of networking, guys. This might help you guys quite a bit. The hidden cost of networking, aka building first. So everything up to this point has been about opening doors, but networking does actually have a cost to it. And doing too much of it too early actively slows you down. So it costs more than just the hour. So before we get to relationships that go sideways, and we'll talk about what that looks like, what we've experienced, we're going to talk about the cost of networking. Guys, like coffees, lunches, calls. Yes, you lose the hour that you jump on for those things, but they also eat away at your focus. For example, like when we have meetings scheduled at 2 p.m., it can wreck our mornings because our whole morning is spent like watching the clock, preparing, thinking about it. Like it's taking up mental bandwidth and creative energy. And then we spend the time after like catching up. And what we've learned is creative work needs long, like uninterrupted blocks. You talk about this in the time freedom framework about the maker hours versus the manager hours. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, that's in the Artist Basics course under the organizations. But basically this idea that there are hours that are designed for you to be creative, maker hours. And then there are hours that are designed for you to be logical, logistical, management stuff. And when you try to hop back and forth in between those things, they kind of just cancel each other out and you don't get the most out of them.
A really great example for you guys is like songwriting. It's like, I've got 30 minutes to write a song and I have to leave to go to my coffee meeting. That's stressful and you're probably not going to get much out of that. You need hours to like at a time to like get in a flow.
Yeah.
And you got to get into a flow state. And even if you're like, even if you have those hours, let's say you have a few hours, but you still have to leave to go to a coffee thing or you have a call that you're always going to be interrupted looking up at the clock because you don't want to like miss your thing. And so every time you do that, it just disrupts the flow. And so it's important to really figure out what season you're in and when it comes to networking. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
Yeah. And there's a trap here. We call it the more the merrier trap. Because when we were starting our company, we chased as many meetings as we could possibly get because it logically felt right. We're like, the more conversations we have means the more opportunities we could potentially get. And like, we feel like we're accomplishing stuff. Like, oh, checked off our call. And that is, sometimes true. We did learn a ton from those meetings. And looking back now, though, a lot of it distracted us from actually going and just doing the stuff and building the stuff to make our product, our service, our brand, whatever, really valuable, right? We were busy. We felt productive. We had full calendar calls with other artists and other potential partnerships, but we weren't necessarily building the thing that would eventually make those conversations worth having in the first place. And that's kind of the nugget that we want to get into here is first building something, and then once that thing is worth meeting, then having conversations about the thing and being honest about yourself where you currently are in that order. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I can give you an example for us. Like he said, when we first started this company, we thought we had to like meet everybody, but the reality was like we didn't really have much to offer, and we didn't spend enough maker hours ourselves really figuring out what we wanted as a company, or like the product wasn't there yet. And like the thing is that I can't remember if you talk about this more or we already talked about it, but like when you don't have any leverage at all, or you don't bless you.
It's reverberated throughout the whole room. We need more.
We need more sound panels.
Sound panels.
What I was saying was we didn't have very many skills, and we didn't have much leverage at all. And so what ended up happening was we just kind of attracted other people that also didn't have skills and didn't have any leverage. It was just a bunch of people hanging out, and none of us in our meetings knew what success actually was or looked like.
Yeah.
And until you like actually like spend the time yourself and really build up your skills and build some of that leverage, then you know what the characteristic of like what it really takes to be great at what you do in your skills. And then it's kind of those things where like the game starts to recognize game, where it's like, oh, I know what those have. I know how painful it was to learn that skill for so long. And they are also doing that too. And you start kind of leveling up, and that's when you start to know like your meetings become even more higher leverage by the two of you meeting and what the outcome could possibly be for it. Let's say if it was a project or whatever. And so that's kind of what we noticed
Yeah.
of just like hitting pause on the networking part and just building up skills for a while.
So that leads to this exact point right here, guys. Building mode versus networking mode and knowing which season you are in. So, for example, building mode is when you're heads down, creating something valuable. You know, might be your catalog, your audience, your skills, your product, whatever it is. This is where you create a lot of the leverage, right? Networking mode is when you're now out having conversations and turning that leverage you just spent a really long time building and creating, turning that thing into the opportunities now. Both are really important, but they're really difficult to do well at the same time. And they're even worse to do in the wrong order. Because I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but have you ever tried to go network and get opportunities before having enough leverage? Kind of like what Joey was talking about. Like, we talk about leverage a lot in this group if you're new here. And it's this idea of like things you can do, grow, build with your music career that give you long-term value and impact and opportunities. And if you're out trying to sometimes network for opportunities before you have leverage and like something to really bring to the table, like it usually doesn't yield as much. So at one point, we deliberately stopped meeting people for a season. And to be honest, we're there a little bit again right now because we are focused heads down right now and really going all in on this network and building the courses. And we have another worship accelerator program that we're launching. Like, we have a lot of really cool stuff that we finally realized is the next level of leverage for us, for our brands, for our marketing and everything. So now we have pulled a lot of our time back and we're not meeting very much with people anymore. There's a few of you that we'll be catching up with yet because you're in the network, right? And we're showing up for these calls every week because we said we're going to do that, right? And we're going to provide value with that. But we are intentionally pulling back to focus on more of the building. So yeah, there was a period we just went quiet and focused on making the company better. And that decision, it's really what changed a lot of the quality of the conversations that we were able to have after.
Yeah, and lastly, what he was saying about the season of us like really just locking in and trying to figure out this network and worship collective accelerator. What those maker hours do is it forces you need to work on the things that you don't yet have the solution for and nobody else may have the solution for. Like, for example, like figuring out your brand and kind of like your plan for you and figuring out your audience. And like, that's a lot of stuff that you have to do on your own and like really map that out. And for example, like this worship collective accelerator, like we're creating a program that nobody has ever done before.
We haven't seen it.
There is no solution for it. There's no perfect solution. It takes all of our energy and bandwidth to figure that out. Because
Same with the network, though.
Yeah, same with this network. It's like I haven't seen anybody do it this way before. We're coming up with something from scratch, an idea from scratch, and it takes all the creative energy to do that. So
yeah. And you might feel like that too, guys. Like you're going to feel like you are building something from scratch because you are. It's your own brand. It's like this own thing. So let me ask you this, guys. How many of you right now, and drop this in the network or drop this in the comment, just a one-word answer. How many of you feel like you are in the building phase right now? And how many of you feel like you are in the networking phase right now? I'm just curious to get a poll here. Building or networking? Jacob, building. Oh, Timmy's on a walk. Okay, so Karen said she's building, Jacob's building, Timmy's building, Wayne's building. I am going to butcher your name, and I need some help here. Shanane. I need some help.
where?
Shanane. Say it one more time. Chinenye. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna need that for our call Thursday. That was on my to-do list. The first thing on the call, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna butcher this. Thank you for the help. Okay, so she said building as well. Trace, a little bit of both right now, depends on the environment. Okay, a lot of you are in the building phase. Yeah, and again, guys, it's not to say that you can't be networking and like networking has to be zero. That's kind of the point of these calls too, is they are low pressure calls. These calls right now, it's like you might not realize it right now, but you guys are in a way networking right now. You're building relationships. You're just letting other people be aware that you exist, and you're setting a really like low, solid foundation. You might not be aware of it right now, but that's good to see. A lot of you are in the building phase. Aaron he said, is left field an option? Are we talking like baseball now? Annie says, I think I'd be building. Nope, she's networking. A lot of building. Okay. Let's hit this next part. This is what you were talking about earlier around the whole high level and low level conversations. Guys, once you start to intentionally network, then your job is to filter. There is this difference between high leverage people are actively creating value in their world. They're building something. They know what winning takes. And a conversation with somebody like that can genuinely move you. There's a lot of cool opportunities there. But here's the thing. If you bring no value to the table, and again, that sounds bad, but we're talking, from a very like 3D perspective world, like from a taking action standpoint. It's like if you're not going to bring the value to the table, you'll mostly attract other low leverage people, because like attracts like. People who might not be succeeding often don't typically know what it takes to succeed. And this is what Joey was saying. Two people who don't know what winning looks like, meeting for coffee, isn't always successful networking. Sometimes it's just a couple hours gone. And we don't want that to sting, but like there is an aspect to that when you're talking about like growing your career. It's like, okay, either this moves the needle forward or it doesn't. Any thoughts on that? Because I know you brought that up earlier.
No, because we'll talk about it again when it comes to punching outside of your weight class. Not literally, but networking. It's kind of a similar thing.
Okay. Yeah, eventually, guys, it just gets to the point where, like, it's fun at first to aim for conversations. Oh, someone wants to reach out and have a conversation. This is fun. And there was a season where, like, oh, we were doing that with distributors, and we were doing that with labels, and then we were doing that with future artists and marketing calls and all this stuff. And then we were realizing the majority of them yielded nothing, and like it just stopped. Like nothing came about from it. So the conversation isn't necessarily the win, the outcome, like seeing what can come from it. Even the relationship, but the relationships just don't go anywhere oftentimes in these networking calls. So if you're measuring your networking by how many meetings you have, you're probably measuring the wrong thing. So the solution, again, when we say become more valuable first, we're talking build first, spending time in the building phase, building the skills, building the thing. Skills plus what you're building equals better conversations and better outcomes. Cool. You want to take this one? What good networking looks like?
What good networking actually looks like. Here's a deal we pitched for a distributor that we met with, and why it worked, because it wasn't just a coffee meeting. It was mutual value on multiple fronts.
Oh, this is our distribution meeting that we had.
Yeah. And we've been talking to these people probably once a year. We meet for years, and we didn't even collaborate. And until it's like now, like 3 years later,
we just started partnering after this meeting right here. Yeah.
Yeah. And so before the meeting, we looked at their brand and what they offer and what their audience is. They're a distributor. We're not necessarily a distributor. We are a record label / network, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, we're a little bit of everything. We're artists. We're a record label.
But as of right now, we are not a distribution company. We'll maybe get to that at some point later. But right now, we are outsourcing our distribution to actual distributors where it's their one job. And so we looked at their brand and what they're focused on over the last several meetings. And we walked in with a couple ideas. One of them was the affiliate angle. This is a way for them to plant their distribution contact, whatever, their links within our ecosystem so that our network can see that and we can recommend them as credible people to go do that. There's an equal benefit there. And we also send them, for example, they don't have necessarily a network of people like this Anthem network. And for them, their incentive is for their artists on their roster to get their streams up so that they make more money. So we send them our affiliate where they send them our way, where we train their artists how to market their music and make their streams more valuable, which benefits them. That's like an actual like tangible affiliate angle. Obviously the collaboration angle where we've talked about artists that are on their roster that trust them and trust their word. They will basically just facilitate a collaboration deal with us, for example, like Anthem Worship, and we're about to release one of those songs here pretty soon. We talked about their deficit, where their artists pay them for distribution, but if those artists don't succeed, the distributor's percentage isn't worth much, which is what I was saying about the affiliate angle. And so their upside depends entirely on their artists growing, which is what we teach on. So it's in their incentive to have their artists in our network learning our plans and our marketing tricks.
To sum all of that up, though, what he just said, we essentially went into a meeting where we had maintained a relationship for multiple years and nothing had tangibly come out of it, but we knew that like something might. But because we just spent the last year with our heads down building the Anthem network, we just happened to have a new piece of leverage going into that meeting of saying, oh, you know what? You guys as distributors, you probably want your artists' music to perform really well, right? Well, guess what? We now have a community where we are teaching all of our tips and tricks and strategies for marketing and song growth that we've used to get 500 million streams on our music. So it's like, wouldn't that potentially benefit your artists? Oh yeah, that would benefit the artists. And it's like, okay. And lo and behold, now we have a relationship coming together because we spent time building something that just happened to bring more value.
And the detail was we listened over several meetings and they just want to stay in their distribution lane. And they're like, we don't want to do marketing. And they've been sending people our way just by word of mouth for the marketing stuff that we do and the network, just because they're like, that is not our lane that we're focused on. So it works really well, this type of relationship where we're not focused on building our own distributor right now. So
correct.
It's a great outcome. So
correct.
What we feel.
I already moved it. Were you making another?
Do we get to the bottom of that?
I summed
you
it up.
basically summarized that. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we keep rolling here. How are you guys all doing? Let's quick get a vibe check. You all still interested in this? I know networking isn't necessarily the most exciting topic, but we figured this would be worth going through with you guys on a call instead of us necessarily just sitting down and recording this one for the content, because there's a lot to this, and it's such a boring thing, guys, but I'm telling you, if you can get good at some of these skills, like it's going to take you a really, really long ways.
Just so you know, for recording purposes, we might just blast through the 9 p.m. just to make sure that we finish recording.
Yep.
But you guys don't have to stay on the whole night. But
yep. So if we hit 9 p.m. and we're still not done and you guys need to bounce, do not worry about it. We might just keep going to make sure we get it done for the course. But if you want to hang out with us till we're done, you are welcome to do that. All right, number 7. Here's an important one, guys. Making sure you're actually ready for the opportunity and really ready to capitalize on the opportunity. So here's a hard truth that runs counter to most networking advice. Getting the opportunity too early can also hurt you more than getting it at all. Networking works, and eventually it'll put a door in front of you, right? You might get an opening slot at a show. You might get a big collaboration. You might get a session with a producer who you would consider above your level, right? A stage bigger than you've played before, stuff like that. And there's going to be pressure to say yes to everything. But an opportunity that you're not ready for can actively set you back. Okay? So think about what actually happens when this does happen. You get on a big stage before your live set is tight, is really ready to go, and the people who saw you now think of you as maybe not ready. right? We had that happen with record labels when we did showcases. We weren't quite ready, and that's how they remember us now. It's like, oh, okay, now we're the band that's not ready, right? You land the session with a really high level producer, but you don't really have the great songs. Maybe your vocal ability isn't where you want it to be. You know, maybe your skills aren't there yet, and you've spent a relationship on a mediocre result, and they probably won't call you back. You know, it's like such a simple thing like that.
Like, for example, if your vocals aren't there yet and they have to spend a ton of time doctoring up your vocals,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, it's things like that that actually make more work for them, that make them less likely to want to work with you again.
Yep. You know, another one of these, you might reach out for playlist placements or opportunities, but your songs might not be where they need to be at quality wise. So now when that person sees your brand, they think that, and they don't support you. You might get in the room with someone influential and you can't hold the conversation. So their takeaway is, nice person, not there yet. Bam, gone. You might finally get a reputable A&R label rep to consider your music, like our showcases, but your songs aren't there yet. Your brand isn't there yet. So they write you off as like, yeah, they're okay, but not now. Another example here. But the idea is, guys, first impressions in the industry, they can be expensive. So people form an opinion of your level right away, in that opinion, it tends to follow you along for a while. Getting a second look is a lot harder than getting the first one. So here's just a gut check that you can go through. Before you say yes to something, especially something big, ask, hey, is my product, is my service, meaning are my skills or my talents, like my brand, my career, is it ready? The songs, the mixes, the live set, the catalog. Can I deliver at this level? Am I hoping I'll figure it out mid-flight? Am I just saying yes and I'm gonna figure it out? If this goes exactly as planned, can I handle what comes after it? A viral moment. Maybe I don't have enough music released, or like my brand ready to capitalize on it. Do I have the capacity, the time, the energy, the money to do this well? Would I rather be seen at 100% or 3 times at 60%?
Another thing too that we didn't mention are the mental obstacles, like the mental blocks. I'm thinking from us as like a record label, if there is something that you just cannot get past, some form of even internal thing, especially the people who are investing in your music, like a record label, or like for us, like if I see that there's a mental block, if we see that there's a mental block, we know that is going to hold you back. For example, one really easy one is like, if you're too afraid of being seen, we know you're not going to go very hard on social media or put much energy into social media. So that is immediately gone. People are going to lose that connection with you because you're too afraid. And that is more of an internal thing versus like an external thing.
Yep. Yeah. So a lot of, and let me just say this too, guys. We talk with a lot of artists. Obviously, we have a network, but like even outside of this network, and everybody's usually like, oh, I want this opportunity. I want the opportunity. Oh, I just need more opportunities. It's like, okay, but when you get the opportunity, are you ready for it? Like, are you really ready? Have you done the work behind the scenes to be ready for it? And what do they say? It's something like, the work done in the dark is what's seen in the light, or that's the general paraphrasing of it. But the idea is that you're going to probably spend a good amount of time working hard, not getting the opportunities, but they're preparing you for like when it does happen, you can actually capitalize on it.
That also falls into another number that we're going to get to called the lonely middle, that season of putting in the work, but we'll get to it.
And we got some people headed out. Again, that is totally fine, guys, because this call is just going a little long. See you later, Jacob. Trace is out.
What does the automated thing say when you call a company? This call is being recorded and monitored.
Yes.
I don't know why I thought of that, but it's that.
What?
Come back and watch it. We're recording for the people leaving.
Oh, yeah, we put a little... I don't know where you threw me off with that one.
Just derailed you.
Yeah, derailed it. Let me ask you this, guys. For those of you that are still on the call, do you have any thoughts or questions around any of this stuff before we keep going on to the next topics? Any observations, pressing questions that you're wanting to get to? Otherwise, we will just keep it moving. Okay.
Cool. Number 8, reputation is everything. This industry is tiny. If you take one thing from this entire lesson, take this. The music industry is far smaller than it looks, no matter your genre, your city, your level. It's a small world and everybody talks. I feel like we have just about every Christian artist in Canada right now. When I go see when I see the award shows, it's all the same people that are in the network. And it's funny because I can make fun of them because I don't think any of them are in this call right now.
That's what you get. You don't
that's
show
what you
up.
Get.
You get made
Can't
fun of.
defend yourself.
Yep.
You have to make a post. So the producer that you were rude to knows the manager that you're also trying to meet and sign with. The artist you flaked on plays shows with the person booking the tour that you want. The engineer who watched you melt down in the studio will absolutely mention it when your name comes up. Word of mouth is the real currency here. Long before anyone hears your music, they've often already heard about you.
Facts.
The good news is this cuts both ways. The same industry smallness that makes a bad reputation circulate also makes a good one travel really fast. Being known as easy to work with, always prepared, great hang, or that person always follows through opens doors you'll never even know were open. Someone recommends you in a room that you weren't in. That is what we call a compounding asset, and every professional interaction done well is a deposit into it.
Yep.
Here are some tips on how to act classy. Do what you said you do. When you said you do it, follow through on your commitments. The most hilarious thing about this industry is that, like, you hear about people getting screwed over by their distributor. You hear about record labels just like not following through, like even just like stuff that's like that falls through the cracks that doesn't get transitioned over from a distributor or whatever. It's like if you just stick to your word, you're already ahead of everybody. It's wild the amount of people that do not stick to their word and also just do what they say they're going to do.
We literally had a call today with a manager and an artist that we're doing an album with coming up. And they said that, you know what I really like about you guys? When you say you're going to do something, you do it. You always keep your word. We're like, is that unusual?
That's not the first conversation we had. Like a different conversation was like about them as a distributor. They're like, artists love us. And even like editorials, the people that work at the editorials love them as distributors because they just do their work. They get their pitches in on time.
Who would have thought?
They treat the editorials nicely, and their artists freaking land the editorials. Yep. It's like, it's confirmation everywhere. It's so wild. So the other thing, don't trash talk. Not other artists, not producers, not labels, not the person who wronged you. It says more about you than them and will always turn back around. You want to leave well when a collaboration, band, or partnership ends. End it graciously. How you exit is remembered more than how you entered. Try to, as best you can, maintain the relationship. Don't burn all the bridges as best you can. Own your mistakes fast. That was my fault. Here's how I'm fixing it. Buys more goodwill than any excuse. It's more honesty. Being the same person to everyone, to the headliner and to the intern. People notice, and the intern becomes the A&R rep in 6 years, which is really funny because I remember some lunches we went on with the label, and there was somebody that the intern knew that I also knew, and I actually gave him a little bit more attention. And the boss that was also there, that was the one that was meeting with us, I could feel that he was getting a little like jealous that I was giving the intern more. He was like, it was like another bro from somebody else connection in Nashville. But don't make people chase you. Answer your emails, reply to your texts. It's much more polite to say no than it is to ghost people. I think a lot of artists have a hard time saying one no.
Right there.
And just it's better to say no to somebody
instead of dragging it on.
Even if you just flat out said no. It's at least something that people can go off of and like recover from, rather than you hyping them up about something and then they hit you up and then you never respond, they'll always be questioning. And it's like, you'll be just like living in their head rent free, and it won't be a good feeling. So learn how to handle rejection gracefully. The no today is often the yes later, unless you make it awkward. So a lot of times it's just not the right timing.
No, meaning not yet, means, oh, there's still a chance that it gets to be a yes, unless you handle it very poorly. Then it just means no.
Yeah. So your reputation is being built right now in every small interaction, whether you're thinking about it or not. Build it intentionally. So there are positive examples and negative ones. For example, for TAC, word of mouth, like recommendations. Sometimes we will interact with somebody and they'll be like, oh yeah, I heard of you guys, like the Anthem guys. And it was like, there's like a very positive tone to it. And I'm like, I've never talked to you or I've ever before. So
I don't know who you are, but
I was
this
like,
is
I hope
cool.
they're saying
Nice.
something
Yeah.
nice, but usually it's a positive thing, whether it's from marketing or from our music, our collaborations, whatever. Then there are negative examples. Artists not getting invited to collaborations and events because other artists tell us how they treat them. So there's actually, it's funny because we've collaborated with artists in the past, and it was great then because I think we were the bigger artist in that collaboration, so they were like really cool with us. And then they get into another right with another artist and treat them super poorly, and then weird worlds collide where that person comes to us and they're like super hurt about it, and those artist names are on our freaking catalog, and it's like, that's not cool because now our name is getting dragged in the mud.
We're associated.
And so now we're associated. So you have to be really careful about that. And so that is just a negative thing. It's like we will not collaborate with them again.
And
because, yeah.
In that situation, guys, it's like there were opportunities for future collaborations, for writing events, and we intentionally didn't invite them because we had other artists coming up saying how difficult of an experience that it was. And it's like, dude, like that is like the minimum expectation is that you're not being tools to other people and just you're not being awkward around everybody. And like, yeah, word does get around. We also have one more thing in here too. I don't know if you guys keep up on this like whole tribal situation that's going on with, Tribal being the record label of Maverick City Music. But there is so much sketchiness going on, and we know a lot of the artists that are involved, and it's like, I guess we'll technically say allegedly to keep everything square, but it's like deals are not being met, payments are not being made, things are getting behind. Like there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on.
Just look it up. It's all public.
Yeah, if you look it up, Wayne, because you could do some Instagram searches about it too. There's a lot of bigger like Christian music pages.
There's tons
that
of
are starting to
information out there. You could just
leak
look it up for
screenshots,
yourself.
and we've got relationships with some of the artists and the managers who are also tied up in it. And guys, all we can say is like reputation is a big deal, and this isn't great long term for Tribal. We'll just say that.
The wild thing is like it's every single type of scandal thing. It's like you hear about this stuff for years, but none of it, like you don't know if it's true or not until you've heard it from 6 different unrelated people, and it's all the same story.
Yeah.
That's how that's what you do not want to happen to your brand.
Yep. We've and that's exactly what happened. We're like, holy smokes, we've heard this.
You
from
can almost just
way
go without saying, and everybody knows.
too many people.
That's how, like, you don't want that to happen to your brand.
Yeah. We had a comment here. Karen, so you were saying this one is difficult. I've received several emails of reps, but I don't know if they're legitimate. So what are you talking about with that? No, well, we can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you. Well, not necessarily on those. So when we talk about like making sure that we reply, a lot of times we mean with like relationships that we're actually interested in growing and creating. Now early on, we did take a lot of those calls when we talk about like distributors and reps and people reaching out. It's funny because if we go look at our emails for like some of our brands and stuff now, it's like there's a bajillion emails in there from like, hey, we're a distributor. We see you guys doing this. We want to jump on a call. It's like 10 of those. And you're like, are these all real people? Or like, are they not real people? It's helpful for us now to be aware of the brands. So for example, like Symphonic was reaching out to Mass Anthem again for music distribution. We now know that Symphonic is a reputable distributor. So it's like, okay, that is actually potentially a call worth having if that's something we're interested in. The trick is early on is being aware of who's legit and who isn't legit. And one of the benefits of being in the network too, Karen, is like if you wanted to take screenshots of that stuff and make community posts and just share like, hey, does anybody know if these people are legit or not? Because we even had, Sylvia, I think, got reached out to via Instagram with some people that are like, hey, you got to do our marketing service and it costs this much money. And she's like, I think I'm going to do it. But like, she posted it to the network. She's like, I don't know. It seems like, what do you guys think? And we're like, no, this doesn't look legit.
Even too, like Michelle is in the network too. And she said that a marketing company was like asking for her login information for her social medias. And we're like, that doesn't sound right, especially she didn't know the company and we didn't recognize the company. And that's the difficult thing that you have to watch out for. But the other flip side of it too is like once you also build leverage, now even the reputable ones will come looking for you and like wanting to work with you. But you also have to know what a fair deal is, because if you give off the vibe you don't know what's fair, then sometimes even the reputable ones will get a better deal out of you. And you will get the kind of the short end of the stick. So that's part of the reason why we have this network, is like to showcase what's fair.
Yep. But in general, like communication, when people reach out to us and it's a relationship that we're actually interested in, and like we're intentional to respond and to keep up with those things. Was that helpful? Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask, we're down to 2 people. And again, this is one where we've still got some points going, guys. So, like, if you guys are spent, you absolutely don't have to keep hanging on here. How are you doing, Karen and Wayne? Oh, good. Okay. So you might hang out with a little bit longer? Okay, it's up to you. Yeah, Wayne, you doing all right? Oh,
We'll probably just
he's muted.
hit these and just keep going through them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to get to the next one.
Yeah, is this me?
I can hit it.
Okay.
How to actually reach out. So there are practical ways for making content or making connection with people without being annoying. Number 1, leading with something real, like actually referencing their work. Something like, hey, I've had your song on repeat, beats, love your stuff, ! Because it actually proves you're paying attention, like listing something specifically. That goes a long ways, guys. Like you'll find that oftentimes when we're, especially via emails, when artists reach out, like I will actually go listen to the song and respond or reach out, hey, like this song sounded really good. It's just an extra layer of intentionality. Be clear.
Yeah. Or I was going to say adding that, and like it's proof too. It's like if there's a lyric or a hook or a melody or something that stuck out to you, like, and you mention that, it'll prove that you actually listened to it.
Yeah. Be clear about who you are. A quick line about what you do, why you're reaching out. All right. Don't make them guess. Give before you ask whenever you can. Reposting their song, adding it to your playlist. That's why it's really great to build your own playlist, which is what we teach on in here. Send them a genuine compliment with nothing attached. Hey, love your work. Support other people's work publicly. It costs you nothing, and it's remembered. By the way, like I said, we gave away free playlist support for almost a year before we ever created a service or anything around marketing or any of this stuff. And it's actually how we met a lot of the artists in here. If and when you make an ask, initially make it small and easy. So like if we are going to ask for something networking wise, we keep it pretty chill, a 15-minute call, a quick voice message, or a quick question, one little specific thing. Big asks from strangers typically get ignored, right? So personally, we've had a lot of success with just asking for little bits of quick advice. Most people ahead of you love, by the way, to give you advice. So like, for example, like if you look at artists who are further along than you, like if you ask them genuinely for advice, they're typically happy to give that to you. And that's also why we have the network. Like this is fun for us to give back in a way. But one great question is like, hey, if you were me right now, what would you be doing and focusing on? That's a great request. I use that one a lot, even with that story where I told you about like Michael W. Smith. Mm-hmm. When I was asked, my question for him is like, dude, if you were me right now, like what would you do? Like what would you be doing? And then he's like, he's happy to give that advice. Like they're excited to give that advice. So
it's actually a fun exercise to like look back on your own experience to like give back to somebody in that way. Because now we have enough experience. We don't have however old he is worth of experience, but we have enough to where
he's out touring with Forrest Frank right now. So.
Yeah, even when we had like college people joining, people in their 20s who are just really starting out with their whole life.
Yeah.
We have that now.
And then lastly, guys, follow through on what you say. It's simple and rare. Do what you said you would do when you said you would do it. A lot of this just comes down to being a good human on the internet, being a real and genuine person on social media, supporting other people, reposting someone's work, telling them you liked what they did. Like, this isn't difficult stuff, guys. You'll build more real relationships that way than through any other really networking strategy. Cool. Let's jump into 10.
Number 10, how to network above your weight class. At some point, you'll want to connect with somebody significantly further along with you, a bigger artist, a top producer, an executive, someone whose calendar is genuinely valuable, and usually booked up pretty busy. Most artists handle this one of two ways, both will fail. They either never try at all because they feel like they're not worthy or good enough, or they come in way too hot asking for something enormous from somebody who has no reason to give it. And there's a better approach. Lead with a specific, informed compliment, not big fan, something that proves you actually paid attention to their work. Specificity signals you're a serious person with similar interest in calling, not another fan blast. This takes 30 seconds, and most do this very poorly. The funny thing is, that reminds me of every year they have the Christian award shows or whatever, and all the Christian artists come in. Phil Wickham comes in from California. And I run into him at a coffee shop, and I attempted this.
You ran into Phil?
Yeah, I ran into him. But we did open for him a couple of years before that as Mass Anthem, and we met him then, but he didn't remember it. But I was like, instead of being like a fan, I'd be like, "What's up, Phil?" And like it took him back a little bit, and he's like, "Do I know this person?" Because you have to come off a certain way, whereas for somebody who's like my wife's family, who are like super fans of Christian artists, they would whip out their phones and immediately want to take pictures and stuff like that. You have to be subtle. So,
hey, Philly cheesesteak, my man.
Yeah, I
give
don't
my
know.
nickname
Maybe
right off the bat.
Phil, my guy. So make your ask proportional to the relationship. The size of what you ask for should match how well they know you, which at the start is not at all. First contact is not the time to ask for a feature, an intro, a cosign. So if you're going to ask for something, make it something that costs them almost nothing. One question, a single piece of advice, getting their contact info, etc. So for example, in the Phil Wickham setting, I immediately just tied it to...
You asked him for a collaboration?
I really wanted him to bring me on tour with no.
Let me be your lead guitar, Phil.
Yeah. No, I was like, yo, what's up, dude? And he was like very confused. Like, he's like, should I know this person? Should I not? And I was like, oh yeah, like my band, like we opened for you at this blankety blank festival in New
Yeah.
Hampshire. And he's like, oh yeah, like I love
New
that place. I love
Hampshire.
going back there and playing that. So we talked for literally like 2 minutes, and I was like, oh, you're in town for the awards thing. Like, cool. Yeah, that's cool. All right, cool. Good. All right, dude. Good seeing you. And that was
Yep.
it. Like,
Yep.
I'm not going to get anything out of Phil Wickham. I'm just going to be like, hey, what's up? Great to meet you. And I never saw him since, so he's probably avoiding me. So
But the next time I do see him, I'm going to get
he
him.
may still not remember
He
me.
still has no idea who I am.
So make your ask proportional to the leverage that you currently have. Mass Anthem approaching someone with 100,000 monthly listeners versus 8 million monthly listeners. So
That's a good
earlier,
example.
an example would be like when we collaborate with an artist that has 100,000 monthly listeners or less, like we're pulling a lot of the weight and we're giving a lot of that goodwill, that opportunity.
We have a lot of leverage, right?
And they feel like rock stars and they actually get a lot of value out of it. Versus if I were to go to Forrest Frank as Mass Anthem with 1 million monthly listeners, who
Doesn't matter.
he would be like, why would I collaborate with Mass Anthem?
And let's be clear, like he would look at that and he would know how difficult that is to achieve. So there would be some respect, but also it's like, well, he doesn't need to work with us. It's not a big deal. He'll go do whatever he wants anyways, and he's got whatever he's going on. It's like, right? So try to be proportional. It's like, okay, that's probably not the person that we go to and start talking.
That
deals.
would be like a Phil Wickham. Hey, what's up, man? Great to meet you.
Yo, Phil, we got this idea for collab, man. You ever heard of Mass Anthem? We open for you.
Yeah, that's not the time or place.
No.
So bring something even small. You almost you almost always have more to offer than you think. Maybe it's generally useful feedback or share to your audience. An introduction they'd actually want, volunteering for something, even just being reliable and enthusiastic in a room where most people are neither. Value isn't only money and reach.
Sometimes we'll be intentional to bring merch when we go places. It's such a simple thing. We'll show up with T-shirts. We'll show up with hats. It's like it's a gift. It is the idea. It's the thought that wow, they came and they brought me something. That goes a long ways.
Going back to the first thing we talked about, serve your way in. We mentioned this earlier about serving your way to success. And in that case, it's the highest percentage play there is. Show up, do the unglamorous work, be the person who carries gear, runs the merch table, handles the thing nobody wants to handle. Proximity plus reliability builds relationships that a cold DM never will. And it's how an enormous number of people in this industry actually got their start. So in other words, do the dirty work for them. And they will immediately see some goodwill and some value there. Don't rush the relationship. People further along can feel when somebody's trying to shortcut intimacy to get to an ask. Be patient. Support them for months with nothing attached. The relationship compounds and the eventual ask lands completely differently because they happen naturally. Be normal about it. Don't be starstruck. Don't grovel. Is that your word?
It's a good word, isn't it?
It's a great word. Don't grovel and
You
don't
like my word grovel?
Don't overcompensate by acting like someone you're not. Just be respectful, curious, easy human. Ironically, the most refreshing thing you can be to someone constantly approached by people who want things is yourself. Just
Okay,
someone who is pleasant to talk to.
That right there, and again, that's going to be a common theme throughout everything we've talked about. Is just like being yourself. So using an example here, when I was tour managing for Citizen way back in the day, and I'm like a college kid that like just started doing this, it was at the Life Fest where John Christ was doing like the main stage, and I had all the backstage passes. And some reason or another, we ended up just sitting at the same table, like eating food and just chatting and connecting. It's like, again, it's that same thing that same exact scenario with Phil. It's like, you just act like a normal human and you're not starstruck and you just be yourself and you're making jokes and laughing. And it's like you start to build a relationship and then you exchange numbers and you like keep up. And it's like little stuff like that. It's just being yourself and like authentically yourself. I don't know why that's such a rare thing, but it stands out.
And one easy way to get into that is put yourself in their situation. The higher up the ladder you go, especially the more eyes you have on your brand, the more occurrences they have of people like hitting them up, wanting them for things and wanting access to
100%.
them and all of that. And that is one of the biggest drawbacks of having a wide reach is like people, you just have an enormous amount of people that want something from you. And so they're actually craving those interactions. So if you can offer a genuine human interaction where there's no strings attached to it, that can actually brighten their day a little bit.
Yep.
So, and you need to know when not to reach up. We talked about this earlier as well, but if you have nothing built yet, the conversation likely won't go anywhere useful, and you may burn a first impression that you only get once. You want to build first, reach up second.
Yep.
Remember, people above your weight class were all below someone else's once. Most of them remember it, and a surprising number are genuinely willing to help someone who is respectful, prepared, and not asking for the world on day one.
It's exactly the thing that I was talking about. It's like, dude, we know what we've been through to pull off some pretty cool stuff with music. So when we get a shot in this network to help other artists and pay it forward and answer questions, like, what would you do if you're in my situation? Like, that's fun. I actually enjoy that, like giving back with that. And then there's a lot of people ahead of us where it's the same thing. They've been where we're at and they know the work that it took to get there, and they're happy to also give us, assistance, give us tips, give us advice. Like we have, for example, a business mentor that has done that for us for the last 6 years. And it's because like he has been where we're at and he's happy to like reach down and kind of lend a helping hand. So it's just that, guys. People ahead of you are typically not going to shame you or like come at you for asking for help. Typically they'll be happy to offer like some advice at the least. Cool. We're getting close here. We have turns out, guys, we put together one of the longest artist basics courses we have to date. We didn't expect it to go this long. Wayne, Karen, how you guys doing? Still hanging in there? Are you still enjoying it? Cool. Well, we'll finish it out then. You're free to stay as long as you want, but we'll just get this thing finished up. What not to do. Learning from these examples. We saved this one closer to the end on purpose because everything up to this point is what to do. This is stuff that quietly undoes all the right stuff to do. These are patterns we see constantly. And yes, we do get these types of messages regularly. So none of these are bad people, but a lot of this networking stuff, it just hasn't been learned, and it costs relationships and it's costing them opportunities they don't even realize they're losing. So we're going to share some like practical examples. We're not going to drop names. We're not going to like be shouting anybody out, but we're going to share the lesson from some of this stuff. So here's a mistake, guys. Going silent for a year and then reappearing with like a copy paste type ask.
This is especially going to be common if you grow your own playlists. People will find out that you have playlists, and you will get copy paste text from a lot of people that
nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually the reason why initially Joey and I hid ourselves from the company, why we didn't want to be the faces of the Anthem Co. Because the second we even had a couple of our friends finding out that we were growing playlists and like starting to do this stuff, we were personally getting text messages like, "Hey, can you add our thing?" And just like complete asks from artists that we haven't necessarily seen or talked to in a long time. And it's just like immediately we were like, we want to avoid this. Let's just hide and not be known as.
It is a small fraction of what, for example, like the Amazon, Apple, Spotify editorials are. Like they want to be anonymous. Like they're on another planet of people that want their attention.
Labels are hitting them up. Big labels, small labels, artists, managers, marketing, like everybody. So, yeah, here's a text we received. The gist is basically, "Hey guys, hope y'all are well. We just released our first song in over 6 months. Would love to hear what you think. It would mean the world if you could throw some playlist support on it." So walk you through this because there's two things going on here. Both are worth learning from. this had been like a year of silence before we got this text. And it's like, this is the first thing that we hear back, and it's an ask for something. It's not, hey, like, it's how are you guys? Just want to catch up. It's like, there's no lead into it. No acknowledgement of a gap at all. It's just straight to a request. The second thing is like, man, we can tell it's copy pasted. It just feels like a copy paste that you send to anybody, because you'll notice like there's nothing personalized to it that they would have to customize to us in a message. And like reading the words, hey guys, hope you all are well. Generic song announcement, a request for playlist support. It's not really written for us. It was a list. We were on the list. And again, there's like a lot of exclamation points. Sometimes too much excitement like takes away the genuineness of it. And then here's the third thing, and this is worth mentioning too. Asking for feedback on a song that's already released isn't a good move to make, because if we want to offer constructive feedback, like if they're genuinely asking for it, the song is already released. So you can't actually apply any feedback. So it's literally a lose-lose situation, because like, okay, well, it's kind of a fake way to just try and water down the fact that you're asking for something. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, could I get some feedback on this? It's like, well, the song's already released. Do you want, if we actually have constructive feedback, like that's just going to be really weird and really awkward. So P.S., if you ask for feedback on a song that's already released, Joey may tell you to start over out of spite.
If I sense you're just trying to soften your ask of just getting on a playlist.
Oh yeah, I got some feedback. Yeah, you should probably start over.
I don't know how to give feedback on a song that's already done.
Yeah.
And you're asking for playlist promotion.
So we didn't respond to that text. It's like, that was really, really weird. And when you've had actual like working relationships with people, and you know they receive the same message that got sent to 50 people, it tells them exactly where they rank, right? You didn't reach out to them, you reached out to a group, and they just happened to be in the group. So a simple fix for that is, man, if you're going to reach out to someone, you actually know, right? Something only they would receive. Hey, it's been too long since we talked. How'd this end up going? How'd the album end up going? Where are you guys at with this? Right? Completely different. Mass messages are fine for like fans and promotion. They're just kind of insulting for relationships. How much more we got? Let's see. Few of these, few of this, and this one right here. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this, because we've been going long enough. I think Joey and I could use a quick a bathroom break and some water, and just to end it. So let's do this, guys. We're gonna end the call here. Shout out to you, Wayne, Karen. Thanks for sticking around so long. Hopefully you guys got some good value out of this.
Gold stars.
Literally gold stars. I think we're actually going to do that. Hold on. Dude, we've never given away a gold star for people who stayed longer than everybody else.
Hey.
I like that.
Gold star to Karen, gold star to Wayne.
Okay, remember where we are in the number 11?
Yeah, we're at number 11. I think we should just pick up next week.
Yep.
On number 11.
Yep. Thanks for hanging around, guys. Hopefully you got some value out of this. If you have any...
Sweet.
Yeah, we just got so lost in creating so many topics here that I think we created ourselves a 3-hour course that we tried to fit into 2 hours. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. We'll get this posted. But if you have any questions around this stuff, feel free to make any community posts.
Cool. Have a great week.